This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to cover Stranger Things, so I watched Stranger Things Season 3. Now, one of the things I want to say before I get into it, because there is a ton of what I believe is predictive programming as far as CERN is concerned, and I think most people would agree who follow, CERN and what's going on with CERN. I know it's one of those things where you talk about it, people just cannot fathom what CERN is doing, and they think because of our beliefs spiritually and the veil that is up between the spiritual realm and here, they really think we're all nut jobs. But I'll get into that in a minute. I just want to let people know, because when I do videos on certain shows like Stranger Things, people message me and they're like, "Am I satanic because I watch it?" And sometimes I think they're trolling me. But then I just realize they're really young and they're not sure and they're kind of scared about this stuff. Listen, if you want to watch something, you watch it. I'm not your parent. I'm not telling you what you can and cannot do. I'm just telling you what the agendas that I see behind these videos and these movies and these TV shows and the symbolism behind it. If you still feel like, hey, you want to watch a TV show and you like it and, it takes you out of puts you in go ahead. We all know that TV is poison and all this stuff, but it doesn't make you a Satanist if you watch, okay? I could see, after watching Stranger Things, I could see why people like the show. It's pretty dramatic and, could keep you drawn in. But I want to point out now some of the stuff that really people should be watching when they see this, because this is actually really happening in real life. So what the plot of this is, and this is just this season. I've covered the other seasons before where they actually talk about MK Ultra, which is just pretty funny, because they really reveal a lot of stuff in all of these shows, right? And they fictionalize it. That's how they get people to continue to think that none of this stuff is real, even though they can research it themselves and see that the government's even admitted to doing this to people. The plot of it is that this season, the Russians are trying to use an energy weapon that looks, a lot like what we see over at CERN. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with CERN, you need to be familiar with CERN. I've talked about CERN many times on my channels, in the beginning especially. I haven't talked about it much lately. There are many people out there who are way more educated on it, who are, into engineering and all that type of stuff. That is not my forte. But pretty much what you see over at CERN is this gigantic energy weapon, right? And they have claims for what they're using it for, but most people believe what they're trying to do is lift the veil that has been placed here, right? Between the spiritual realm and here, and bring over what's on the other side. That is the exact precise theme of Stranger Things, of what they're trying to do. So they have the Russians trying to open this gate, right? Break through with this energy weapon. And on the other side is this demonic, entity. And this season, what it does is that they have people who become demonically possessed by this entity. And then an army of people become possessed by this demonic entity. Now, demonic possession is very, very real. People just don't believe that it's real because they've seen it over and over in movies like The Exorcist, paranormal activity, those types of things. So they think it doesn't exist because they see it sensationalized in the movies. Demonic possession is real. These Satanists, they perform a lot, most of the rituals they perform is to become demonically possessed. They'll tell you that that's a load of crap because of course they will. Witches and stuff, they summon spirits and they summon demons for a reason. So the energy weapon that we see over at CERN, it almost looks identical to this. That's how unbelievable it is. I mean, take a look at it. And then, you have the commercial that CERN puts out there where CERN has that giant ritual circle where a man is walking around the circle dressed in a druid cloak, a man who looks a lot, I mean, you know what he looks like. And he's walking around the ritual. And this is supposed to be something that we're supposed to say is wonderful. And then they have, Kali or Shiva the Destroyer, I forget which one it is. I believe it's Kali, a statue of it outside of the place where the meaning of the statue is the destroyer, to destroy and rebuild. And they have this energy weapon over there in Switzerland. I mean, you can't make this type of stuff up. Now, there's a lot of people that believe that CERN can be used as well for weather manipulation and causing earthquakes and those types of things. Now, I don't know enough about that, but I do know a lot about HAARP and what they do over there. But I wouldn't be surprised one bit if that's, something that they use to cause earthquakes and do those types of things as well. And there's people who are experts on it that would tell you the same exact thing and would prove it. But of course, there'd be people out there that say it's absolutely insane, that it's caused by, it's just a natural thing, and which fine, they can believe whatever they want. We have some of these crazy tsunamis and all this type of stuff that goes on. I understand people that don't want to believe that they weaponize weather, even though we've had our own government admit to doing it. We have President Kennedy talk about doing it. And another thing to note about Stranger Things is the fact that they're promoting witchcraft, because the character 11 fights off the evil using magic, right? They call it her superhero powers, which is another way that they cloak magic in, right? Because they make if they told the parents that it was magic, they'd be suspicious a little bit. So they call it, powers, superhero powers, right? And parents are like, oh yeah, my kid wants to fly. Where do we hear that? In witchcraft. Oh, my kid wants to be able to raise his hand and throw something across the room like 11 does, right? These are all things in witchcraft. They normalize it and they call it superpowers and tell parents that these are superpowers, that these are things, that's so cool and so fun, right? So they make 11 is the hero, the protagonist in it, even though she's fighting against, demonically possessed entities. They're glorifying the magical powers and the witchcraft that she's using. And they're saying, well, it's not witchcraft because she's not doing a ritual and she's not standing in a circle. Yes, but it's the powers that they glorify. So the interesting thing to note from this entire season that I saw was just the fact that a lot of people have been talking about CERN for a long time. A lot of people have been talking about how they're trying to blow open a black hole and bring, and some people are just like, they're going to use it and they're just going to do experiments in space and all this type of crap and, see what they can do with matter. I mean, just stuff where you're just like, huh? And nobody even knows what anyone's talking about. They just nod their head and agree. Meanwhile, nobody believes in spiritual warfare. Nobody believes in, that demonic possession and demons, and there's anything on the other side, except for us, the people who are in it. Us, the evil people, and us, the people who are, Christians who follow Jesus Christ. So that's why everybody thinks this whole notion with what they're trying to do at CERN is crazy. I mean, who comes up with this idea? Let's create this giant energy one. Let's put billions of dollars into it, and we're just going to blow a black hole into the atmosphere. Like, what? Why? Huh? What's the point? Anything, billions of dollars, you could rebuild third world countries. You could make sure there's no homeless people. Nope, we got to do this. Everybody who has a brain, who's awake, knows why it's so important for them to do this. And they show you this in Stranger Things. This is just another case of fiction being reality, of them trying to bring over what's on the other side, because that's exactly what they're trying to do. Now, will it happen? I have no idea. Will people say that this entire notion is a crazy thing? Of course they will. Because when something gets fictionalized in a show like Stranger Things, and then someone like me is like, Well, that's actually what they're trying to do because this is what they've been trying to do. And then they show it to you in a movie. They go, this guy thinks it's real. He thinks Stranger Things is real. He thinks that they're really going to open up a gate and bring over, demagogues or whatever they're called from the other side. This guy's crazy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the whole premise of this, this idea is from CERN. And they know it is. The writers know that's where they came up with this idea for an energy weapon because everybody knows that's exactly what CERN is being used as. A giant energy weapon. And CERN even advertises themselves with these commercials where you just look at it and you go, wait, what? Are they like openly showing that they're trying to, use this for witchcraft, for sorcery and, demonic stuff? Right? I mean, how does this commercial that I showed you tie in at all, in any way, shape, or form to what they claim they're trying to do over there, right? It doesn't. But they're showing us, those who are awake, exactly what they're doing, and they're pretty much just holding up a middle finger because then they go, when they hear people like us talk about it, they go, oh, those crazy people talking about, yes, we're bringing over Satan, we're going to raise the gates of hell, and everybody laughs and has a big giggle about it. But this is all about spiritual warfare. All about it. And that's what's obviously missing in Stranger Things, right? They leave out God. They leave out Jesus. They leave out that whole part of the spiritual warfare, and they just talk about a dark side coming over, and then it just happens to be the person with the witchcraft superpowers who can save them. That's how they invert all of this stuff. But in reality, it's not going to be a witch who saves them. It's going to be Jesus Christ who comes to save all of us, at least, and comes to destroy the rest if people don't repent. So that's what I took from Stranger Things. I mean, I was pretty surprised the first time I saw it, the first season, and I don't really remember the second season. I think it was pretty bad, I guess, from what I remember. But the fact that they're openly showing some of this stuff with MK Ultra, with weaponizing energy, and actually showing a machine that looks just like the machine at CERN is pretty. I mean, it's pretty predictive, And it's just an easy way for them to desensitize people, this kind of stuff, so that when people do hear about CERN, right, what's the first thing that they're going to think? They're going to be like, oh, okay, what is the CERN? And then they're going to say like, oh, look at these crazy people. They think like Stranger Things is real, like a demagogue is going to come through the wall of my basement, and smoke's going to go up my rear end and I'm going to be demonically possessed because they've seen it in the show already. Right? So they go, oh, yeah, come on. They're just trying to, use it as, a means of science. And that's what they do. This is what they always do. When people get suspicious of anything that's going on with the government, all they have to do is throw it in a sci-fi movie, throw it in any type of movie, and then it's a means for deflection, and it's a means for people to go, oh, like that show? I hear this guy talking about CERN and talking about opening a gate, and he thinks like Stranger Things is real. When in reality, they really are trying to do these things. That's the scary part. But this is what they do. This is how mind control works. Fictionalize truth. Fictionalize truth. And then take things that are true, take things that are fiction, like all this politics and this circus, and then present them to the world like they're true. Like your vote counts. Like what you say matters. Like this is a republic. Right? Everything is inverted. Always remember that. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.